Thousands mourn the loss of yet another officer killed in the line of duty. We'll show you how the death of Mendota Heights officer Scott Patrick impacted a community.
Is impaired driving getting better in Maplewood? We'll talk with an award-winning officer about driving trends this summer.
Hello everyone and welcome to your police report. I'm Carrie Crotty.
And I'm Lon Bakey. 47-year-old Mendota Heights police officer Scott Patrick was shot and killed during a routine traffic stop last month.
He was a husband and father of 2 girls and had been with the police department for 19 years. 4,000 people gathered for his funeral, which was followed by an 8-mile procession.
Fellow officers shared their memories of the officer, who was remembered for his humor and his sense of duty.
It's amazing. Checking Facebook, everyone leaving their porch lights on, the memorial site. It truly shows how much respect Scott earned as a police officer and an all-around good human being. He was very proud to be a police officer, and he earned the badge he wore.
As we head down the path of life, we don't know where it ends, but we do choose the route we take along the path. Scott impacted many people on the path of life, evidenced by the outpouring of community support over the past week. Scott's path led him to being a cop. He chose to walk a path fraught with danger. He chose to place himself in harm's way for others. And that's what sets each and every man and woman in uniform apart from the rest.
I think about what Scott would say about all this. A hero's tribute to a man who made the ultimate sacrifice. And I can see him now if he was here. He'd put his arm around me and he'd have a smirk on his face, a twinkle in his eye. He'd say, "Hey, not bad for a Humboldt grad, huh, cadet?" And then I'd respond, obviously. I love you, man. Michelle, Aaron, and Amy, it's an honor and privilege for John and I to share a few words about your husband and father, our brother Scott Thomas Patrick. We are grieving with you, and we are here for you today and the days and weeks and months that follow.
This kid from St. Paul's West Side, with the frequent smile, the low-key demeanor, the guy who could toss out witty one-line crackers, as my brother Mark has called them. They'd bring smiles, took the edge off of stressful situations. This big-picture problem solver was living a lot of his dream. And then in an instant, he's gone.
Lord, if you can hear me, I have something to say. If you're looking for yellow legal pads, Scott has them all. If you find paper clips that were straightened and left all laying around the office, he did it. If you hear the sounds of constantly clicking pens, he's doing it. Please watch over Scott and do him one favor, because he sure as hell deserves it. Point him in the direction of the best restaurant in heaven with half-price margaritas on Mondays.
In love with you.
Maplewood Police Sergeant Joseph Bergeron was killed in the line of duty 4 years ago. A granite boulder memorial at Arlington and English Street was dedicated to him 5 months after he was killed.
Last November, the memorial was vandalized with white paint, and after county workers power washed the memorial, some of the black lettering was removed in the process. That is, until two members of the St. Paul Police Historical Society restored it by repainting its inscription.
One of the two members is retired St. Paul officer Tim Bradley. St. Paul police are still looking for the vandals. We're going to take a break, but first,
here's a safety reminder for kids heading back to school.
Hi, I'm Nick Reckler with this month's Maplewood Community Minute. About 40 pedestrians are killed every year in Minnesota, deaths which are 100% preventable. As kids head back to school and pedestrians multiply, it's important to know what each of us is responsible for. Drivers must stop for crossing pedestrians at marked crosswalks and at all intersections without crosswalks or stoplights. I want to repeat that. Drivers must stop for pedestrians even at intersections without crosswalks or stoplights. Too many people don't realize that. It's important for drivers to be aware walkers might be difficult to see, so anticipate them. Be on the lookout for them, especially in urban areas and around schools and colleges. Cars stopped for pedestrians can proceed once the pedestrian has completely crossed the lane in front of the stopped car. Drivers approaching a stopped car from the rear must not pass the stopped car. When turning, make sure to look in all directions. Pedestrians must obey all traffic signs and signals at intersections that they have. And pedestrians shouldn't enter a crosswalk if a car is approaching and it's impossible for the driver to stop. And one final thing, stay off your phone and pay attention. Inattentive driving causes too many accidents, and remember, failure to follow the law is a misdemeanor. Help keep the kids in our community safe. Be alert and on the lookout. I'm Nick Reckler, and I'll see you next time.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
welcome back. There have been a number of driving campaigns this summer and extra patrol on our streets.
Maplewood Canine Officer Tony Gabriel is here to tell us how things are looking in Maplewood. Welcome, Tony.
Welcome, Tony.
Hello, thank you for
having me.
Can you
explain some of the driving campaigns and how that's been going?
Well, every year the Minnesota Department of Public Safety puts on many driving campaigns that are targeted at lowering traffic fatalities within the state. During these campaigns, they focus in on bad driving habits such as seatbelt use, distracted driving, speed, and most importantly, drinking and driving. When they do that, local agencies and the state patrol flood the streets with officers who specifically look for those types of bad driving behavior. Mostly they write out a lot of tickets, and as you know, our goal isn't to write out a lot of tickets, but it is to educate the public on why these driving behaviors are so dangerous.
And you'll see those large signages over the interstates, especially. I go under one on my way into work that says, extra DWI enforcement this weekend, and I'm assuming that's a part of that campaign itself?
Absolutely. It's no secret that we're doing these campaigns, and we want you to know about it. We want you to know that we're out there so that you have to think twice about drinking and driving.
Right. Is there anything different you've noticed from previous campaigns?
Unfortunately, the number of tickets issued and the number of people arrested keeps going up. More specifically, DWI arrests are on the rise. It sometimes seems, no matter what we do, that people still think that drinking and driving is okay. But one disturbing trend that I'm seeing is that we're now arresting more and more people who are under the age of 21. And in addition to that, at least half of the people that we arrest now, this is their second or third DWI.
Wow, that's incredible.
So if you're making more and more arrests, do you think it's making a difference?
Absolutely. Tickets and arrests might be on the rise, but traffic deaths throughout the state are down.
Oh, that's good news.
That's awesome.
How does Maplewood compare to other cities?
Maplewood officers on average, they arrest more people for DWI than a city of a similar size. I think there's a couple reasons for that. As you know, we have a lot of bars, restaurants, and nightclubs in our city, and they do a wonderful job of not over-serving anybody, but they can only do so much. And secondly, it's just because we have a bunch of officers who are dedicated to traffic safety and are on these roads every night, and they don't want to share the roads with impaired drivers either.
Right, and they're very focused.
Now, I know you're a humble man, but can you tell me a little bit about your award that you got from MAD?
Well, I did. I was lucky enough to get 2 awards this year. The first one was from MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, just for the number of DWI arrests that I've had throughout the year. They had a wonderful luncheon, great food. I also got one from the Department of Public Safety. That was a nice one because the ceremony was at one of the Twins games. We got to go out onto the field, so that was pretty exciting. They did lose the game, but what else is new?
Well,
yeah,
probably
you
because your
can't
mug was
really-
up on that screen.
Can't really help that. And it's nice that they publicly recognize you guys for the work that you're doing, because it is a lot of work, and those numbers are awesome. Clearly, this is important to you. Is there any specific reason that this is important to you, traffic safety?
Well, too many people are dying in traffic accidents that they could have been avoided. And anyone who's been to one of these traffic accidents or had to tell a loved one that a family member has died in one of these traffic accidents, they quickly realize how important it is to do everything they can to keep drunk drivers off the road and get rid of these bad driving habits.
Any final thoughts to wrap it up?
Slow down, hang up the phone, wear your seatbelt, don't ever drink and drive.
Awesome.
Those are good final words.
They are. Thank you very much,
Thanks, Tony. Well, another successful National Night Out was celebrated in Maplewood last month. Maplewood Police and Fire visited with residents across the city, talking about partnership in the fight against crime.
There were 58 block parties, as well as unofficial gatherings, bringing neighbors together through food and conversation. The first National Night Out was held over 30 years ago and now involves over 37 million people. So great job to Maplewood residents.
We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. There's much, much, much more to come.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Get your You're not sitting here. Yes, I am. Move! Give it to him hard! No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Welcome back. As children head back to school this month, it's important to talk with your kids about playground safety.
More than 200,000 children under the age of 14 are treated in the ERs each year as a result of playground injuries. We welcome Dr. Chad Trierweiler to give parents some tips.
Welcome, Doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
What are the most common playground injuries?
I think far and away we probably see falls more than anything else, and that can go anywhere from young children that simply are just getting overly excited and tripping over some of the mulch, falling down and hitting their heads or their faces, all the way to the more serious injuries where the older kids are maybe on the monkey bars or on the higher swings and they fall all the way down and break some bones or give themselves concussions. But falls are without a doubt the most common thing we see.
And you mentioned monkey bars. Would that probably be the most dangerous equipment?
It is. It's also, I think, though, the most fun for the kids as they get older. In my personal experience, what I often see at the urgency room where I work are younger kids, 4, 5, 6-year-olds that want to do what big brother and big sister are doing. And so they get on those monkey bars a little earlier than what maybe they should be. And so they then get up there on their own, and if they're not being supervised or there's too many kids at play, they fall down. And that's a long ways for them to go down, reaching down on an arm and often breaking an elbow or a forearm. But also, though, too, seeing the swings is it can be a dangerous spot. Big slides as they come down and run into other kids. Those are also common areas where we end up seeing kids getting hurt.
Sure. When do you see a spike in urgency room visits, and about how long does that last?
Sure. We always plan to upstaff starting usually in the late spring and then certainly summertime. June and July are very, very busy months for us as the kids are out playing. August is usually not so bad. Kids are often out with their families doing one last family vacation, but then we expect to see a lot of business here coming up in September and October as kids are coming back and excited to be in school, recess time, things of that nature.
All my friends. Woohoo.
Exactly.
Right.
Can you tell me what is the most common age group that's getting injured?
Oh, sure. Usually it's the younger children. Once kids get over to be about the age of 10, they're not spending as much time on playground equipment. Also, the young toddlers aren't out there as much, or they're not crawling up on things to harm themselves as much. But I'd say 4, 5, 6-year-olds, those are the ones where we often see some of the most serious injuries and the ones that are out there on the playground the most often.
How important is it for parents to talk to their children about playground safety?
I think it's the most paramount thing that you can do. Kids, when they get out there on the playground, they're just so excited. They're, bundles of energy, running around, doing what they do. All you can really do, I think, as a parent is, other than obviously watching them closely, is to try to instill some of those important things. No different than looking both ways before crossing the street. The same ideas of make sure that you're only doing one down the slide at a time. Look out because someone's on the swings. Always take that extra second to look before you leap. If you can try to get the kids to think about those things while they're playing, certainly that's going to be helpful.
Don't climb up the slide.
Correct.
Yeah, therefore going down.
Yeah, that's a favorite.
Sure.
Any other talking points you can think of for parents?
A few things. Kids often like to take off the shoes, run around barefoot. Playground equipment really should. They all have treads on them and things to help the kids hold their footing a little better. But running around without shoes on, playing on wet playground equipment is always a no-no. And then the last thing is trying to find clothing that fits a little bit tighter. Loose-fitting clothes, necklaces that can kind of swing and catch on different objects. Those are certainly hazards that can happen. But more than anything else, just really try to watch those kids as best you can, making sure that they're supervised and not getting themselves involved in activities that are beyond their age group.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Chad, for coming in. And
thank you so much.
Some great advice.
It's my pleasure.
For more school safety tips as kids head back to the classroom this fall, check out these websites.
The number of permits to carry being issued in Ramsey County has been steadily increasing.
Here's a look at the growing trends.
Nearly 63,000 permits to carry were issued in Minnesota in 2013. That's nearly double the number issued in 2012 and more than triple the number of 2010. There are more than 165,000 valid permit holders currently in the state. Ramsey County Sheriff Matt Bostrom says a few things may be contributing to the increase.
If you wanted me to guess, which I don't like to do, but I will guess, that there are some folks that feel that perhaps the laws might be changing, and it's been something they've thought about for a long time, and before the law changed, they thought that they would get themselves a firearm to carry and get the permit and then carry.
Hennepin County had the highest number of permits issued in 2013, followed by Anoka, Dakota, and Ramsey counties. State requirements to obtain a permit include that an applicant must not be prohibited from possessing a firearm and must not be listed in the criminal gang investigation system. Applicants must take an approved firearms training prior to applying at their local sheriff's office. Sheriffs then check FBI, BCA, and DHS records before approval.
I haven't had experience with those that go through the permit process to get their firearms, either to purchase or to carry. I haven't had experience with those folks violating the law.
We talked earlier about National Night Out and the importance of community partnership. On September 20th, the St. Paul Police Department will be holding a Community Appreciation Day at Midway Stadium.
There will be many different departments represented, as well as canine demonstrations, various exhibits, and giveaways. And it's all to show appreciation to residents from all metro communities. Everyone is encouraged to come out, and it's free.
And I like free.
I do too.
St. Paul Sergeant and organizer of the event, Mark Ficadente, hopes to draw thousands of people to the event.
My goal, particularly in wanting to get enough people here to fill the stadium, is to show the community our appreciation for their support. And sometimes we don't get an opportunity to state that. And I want them to get more of an intimate feel of what their police department does and their public safety partners do day to day.
Again, the event is at Midway Stadium on Saturday, September 20th from 2 to 5 p.m. If it rains, it will be held the following day.
We're almost out of time, but before we go,
here's a look at the grand reopening of a Maplewood historical site.
It was a day that area golfers waited almost 2 years for, the official reopening of Keller Golf Course in Maplewood. This historic course reopened in late July after a 21-month, $12 million renovation.
Well, after 85 years, you can imagine, like your house, if your house is 85 years old, it needs a little work. And so the clubhouse was totally rebuilt. It's 2.5 times bigger than the old clubhouse. And now it can function on a year-round basis for events and banquets and activities, and then certainly serve the golf course during the spring, fall, and summer. The pro shop was rebuilt. That was an old building as well. And then the course just needed to be freshened up and improved so that everybody could enjoy it with that historic feel, yet it appeals to the modern golfer too.
Richard Mandel was the architect for the project and was thrilled to work on this course.
The character to me came in the lay of the land and how beautiful the land is. And we walked the golf course with about 100 members. And I asked them, what is the character? And they just said the history is part of the character and the locations of the golf holes. So we knew we weren't going to completely redesign the golf course and change the layout of the golf course. One, because we didn't have to, because there's some strong bones here. But two, we would have lost the character of Keller.
Ramsey County Commissioner Mary Jo McGuire loves to golf, so she was especially excited to see the improvements made to Keller.
I appreciate people that are willing to make investments in community, and I'm happy to be a part of a board that wants to do that. So it's going to be exciting to see how well used this clubhouse and course is going to be. As I said, it's going to be a great, it's going to be a revenue, enhancer for the county, and really be a good asset for us.
Keller Golf Course holds a special place in North St. Paul City Council member Candy Peterson's heart.
Well, being a longtime member here for 38 years, it's like coming home. My father was a Ramsey County Commissioner, and this was his pride and joy, and he would be very proud of this, what they've done with the course. The clubhouse, it's a great, it'll be a great experience for people to come out.
For more information about Keller Golf Course, visit RamseyCountyGolf.com.
Last month we looked back at your police report in recognition of GTN's 20-year anniversary. And this year, SEC celebrates 30 years in operation.
September 14th marks the celebration of Community Media Week. Events include free movie night, a producer's boot camp, free dub day, free ice cream, a talent show, and much, 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 much more. So make sure to come out and celebrate with staff. 30 years is something to be proud of. And finally, having taken part in the Polar Plunge, my co-host here is no stranger to icy waters, which is a good thing because White Bear Lake Police Officer Tracy Menarchek and host of Lake Area Beat has challenged Lon.
Tracy Menarchek with the White Bear Lake Police Department. I'm also the co-host to Lake Area Beat, the Police and Fire Department's TV show, and I've been nominated for the Officer Down Memorial Page Cold Water Challenge, and I've accepted. And I'm going to nominate some people for the cold water challenge. Hopefully they accept. First two people I'm calling out are my friends Angie and Bridget from the White Bear Lake Police Department. The next person is kind of a co-host challenge for the Maplewood Police Department. Your police report, officer, co-host, Lon Bakey, and finally, our friend at the White Bear Lake Police Department, Kelly McCarthy from Lino Lakes PD. You have 48 hours to complete this challenge. If you accept the challenge, donate $10 to the Officer Down Memorial page. If you don't, donate $100. Are you ready? Come on.
Oh!
You loved it. Yeah. Woo! 48 hours!
That was great.
She has, and I accept.
You do?
Yes. I'm going to put some ice cold water on top of my head, ruin my hairdo for a good cause.
Be careful for like freeze or burn or on your frostbite.
I just got to make sure I don't drop those ice cubes from too high. I might have cuts on my head, but we'll be good.
Right.
Thanks a lot, Tracy. Really appreciate it, but good cause, as we said. Well, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to this month's edition of Your Police Report. I am Lon Bakey.
And I'm Carrie Crotty. Thanks for watching.